Hello everyone, welcome to the Flipping Good Stuff. Today on the channel I'm going to be sharing with you the 5 biggest mistakes I've made since starting reselling about a year and a half ago. And some of them you probably will recognize if you've started already, and if you haven't, then I'm just gonna try to help you not go there. Let's get started.
Yesterday, there was sun and there was rain, beauty in the mundane. And as the light startled our eyes, we let go of disguise.
Well, that was yesterday morning when I did that lovely intro for this video. Hello everyone, thank you for coming back to my channel. My name is Alicia, and if you are not familiar with me here, I am a reseller on platforms like eBay and now Poshmark. I have just recently branched out to Poshmark, and I have wanted to get on here and do a video about the top 5 things that I have really made mistakes in the last year and a half of being a rookie reseller. They've been some big ones, some big mistakes that have gotten me in some trouble that I'm trying to bail myself out of right now. But the good thing is I did discover that I was not alone in these struggles that I was having, and so many resellers all the way up to the top ones that everyone looks up to have expressed things that I've heard where they've had similar things happen to them when they started their journey. So I just wanted to talk to you about that today. And my hope is, like I did say in my intro that I did yesterday morning, I just hope it helps somebody just skip that step. If you're starting out and wanting to do reselling and you just don't know quite what to do, I just want to make sure that anything that's helpful to you to save you from getting into some of these tangling behaviors, it would just be good to hear that. I think what happened with me is that I got really excited about reselling, and I watched people on YouTube who did a lot of the just kind of treasure hunting, which I love to do. And the problem with that is, well, I'm going to tell you the problem with that here in a minute, but the problem with doing it just that way is that you don't have enough items, excuse me, you don't have enough items that are worth enough and have a high enough resale value to really get your business going on eBay. So I want to start out by explaining what started to wake me up from my fog that I was in, and really get my attention as far as there is a virus starting in my brand new business, and really recognizing that, and really recognizing that I needed to get a hold of some things very quickly, or I was just going to go under very quickly. So I started branching out and listening to other podcasts and watching other YouTube resellers, and the one that I landed on, many of you are probably familiar with if you're in the resale community, is Chris from A Daily Refinement. And by linking onto his information, I also heard the wisdom of Tech and Sports. Yesterday was a big day in the reseller community. Tech and Sports is just the guru of all gurus for reselling. I'm jumping in the video here real quick, guys, because I realized as I'm editing this video that I don't quite finish my thought here. The big news in the resale community is that this reseller guru known as Tech and Sports has been somewhat of a mysterious, he's never shown his face on anything. He's been on Chris's podcast for many years. He's been in the resale community for many years. He just recently retired on his major eBay platform. And after he did that, he decided that he was going to do his own YouTube channel, which launched kind of as a surprise to everyone yesterday. And this guy is so popular amongst resellers that in 24 hours, he has, as of just right now when I took the screenshot so I could add it for you, 6.6 thousand subscribers. I'm like, see my eye twitching? That's unheard of. I think I caught it a couple hours in, like 5 hours in, and there were 800 subscribers in 5 hours and just thousands of views. So this is going to be a channel worth watching. I would suggest that after you watch my video, you kind of go to his only video that's there and watch that, because this is the guy who made the money. And it's not all about money, but if you want to learn the skills that made the money, I would really be paying attention to these two guys. So anyway, I just wanted to jump in here and add that because I'm just kind of going like this and I'm not getting it all out there. So I won't even tell you why. I won't even tell you who he is. But if you start listening to the information on Daily Refinement, or even go to the new Tech and Sports YouTube channel, you will see why I am saying this. They both are just really good at doing the business side of reselling and without all the other fluff. So I started to really glean that information on top of all the fun treasure hunting, what to look for YouTubes that I was watching, and it really shook me up that I had some problems and I was making some big mistakes. And so that's how I ended up with kind of doing this self-diagnosis of what my problems were. And so I'm going to go through these 5 big mistakes I've made, and I hope that this is helpful. So let's just get going here on the list. The first big mistake that I made was the mistake, I'm going to call it the mistake of 10,000 listings. So one of the first things that Tech and Sports said to Chris from Daily Refinement when he was getting started was, you can have 10,000 listings and sell nothing. He just shared this actually today on his live response to Tech and Sports' new YouTube channel.
17, and he says, this is crazy. You guys want to hear what it says? It says, I don't know, man. You could have 10,000 items and sell nothing. That was one of the original messages. That's a big one.
Yeah.
So he says, yeah.
Interesting.
Um,
That's true.
You could have 10,000 BS listings and sell nothing. It's true. It's true. And I was like, nah, hold my beer. Let me try it.
And he scrolled back in his phone and he found that that was what one of the very first emails that he had gotten from Tech and Sports was on this subject. And it was kind of comical because he seems like he was very stubborn when he started out. And when he was told that by Tech and Sports, he kind of had a little bit, he said, of a watch me, hold my beer, he said, kind of response. Like, watch me do it. I'm going to just get a whole bunch of them on there and I'm going to sell it. So what does this mean? What does the mistake of 10,000 listings, as I'm calling it, mean? In my mind, it was kind of the only way I can really get a word picture of this for you is I felt like if I threw enough against the wall, it was going to stick. I felt like if I threw up enough seed on the ground, things were going to start to sprout up. In some regards, that may be accurate, but the problem with this mentality is that, and I assumed at the time that I kind of almost needed to feed eBay's algorithm, that if I just got listings up, 5 a day, 10 a day, if I just kept listing and just started to fill up my store, the activity of all of that would generate the whole universe. It's really funny because when you break this down, it's funny how egotistical you can get when you're first starting and you're not really understanding how huge eBay is. When I say the whole universe, I mean because eBay is global. You are on a global platform, which is great because your items are visible and they are up for purchase to so many people, and that's why it is a great platform. But it is a huge platform, so you have to recognize the concept of a good item with high demand. I felt like if I put a whole bunch of items up there, I would just kind of trigger this effect that no matter what it was, if I thought it was cool and I found it, and somebody else will think it's cool. And that probably is very true, but it's not going to start generating enough sales quickly for you. For two reasons. What's going to happen is you will feel like a hamster on a wheel. Like you are just running in place and you're getting nowhere because you have so many cool items, so many great things, but you are not generating the income yet to keep you going in this journey. And so the second thing that will happen is you will give up. It is no joke. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more down in the other, excuse me, I'm still battling this tail end of this whole cough a little bit. Well, let me just end that and get on to the second one because they're all kind of related. So the second big mistake I made was the mistake of ignoring sell-through rate. And I think this is very common. If you don't know what sell-through rate is, first of all, I highly recommend that you just do a YouTube search on what is sell-through rate. I may do a video in the future about that. It's very simple, actually. I will try to just give it to you in a nutshell here. Sell-through rate is when you put an item in a search on eBay, and let's say that 20 of those, now usually there's going to be a lot more than 20, but I'm just going to keep the numbers little to, for myself and for you too. Let's say that there are 20 of them that come up available on eBay. You have an option on your app, on your phone, to filter that. And if you click and filter it down to sold items, what has sold under that subject, it's going to show you how many have sold. And the parameters for that are within 90 days. So in the last 90 days, this is how many eBay says has sold. So if there are 10 that have sold, then you know that you have a 50% sell-through rate. If there are 20 that have sold and there are 20 available, then you know you have a 100% sell-through rate, which is really good. If there are 30 that have sold, then you have 150% sell-through rate, so on and so on. Very easy numbers to check. I was kind of listening to some of the YouTube resellers who were saying it doesn't really matter. It's debatable. It only matters as much as you want it to matter. It only matters as much as it affects your sales, as much as it affects your mental health. So for me, I listened to that at first. Doesn't matter. I'm going to do this. Hold my beer. Watch me do it. Same sort of thing. I have fallen in the same pit holes as everybody else. It just sounds like. But it does matter for your mental health because what I need at this point in my business is to really get my business going. I need it to be profitable. So you cannot ignore sell-through rate. Instead of sell-through rate, I was making the mistake of experiential and emotional buying and sourcing. So if I had experience with an item, or if I felt like it was cool, or I had emotional ties to it, and unfortunately, I can get emotional or nostalgic about a lot of things. So for instance, I can go to the Goodwill bins where everything is $1.79 a pound. At another one I go to, it can be as low as 45 cents a pound. And I can get pretty excited about every little people toy that I can find on the planet that's about to go into the trash. Or I can get excited about a lot of old stoneware dishware that is not as high sell-through rate as Pyrex, but I still think it's super cool. And I know there's a lot of women who would think it was cool. And I'm right, mind you. But if the sell-through rate isn't there, it's not going to move for me, and it's going to just sit for me, and it's probably not going to get listed because of number 3, which is the mistake of not understanding time, or another way to put it is not understanding how much work it takes to be a reseller. I had no clue. I had this kind of fantasy idea, and I absolutely love the whole thing. I'm actually getting to where I went through this phase where I hated listing so much. I actually love listing now. It's becoming more familiar, But there is definitely a huge part of that that is the work. And finding the treasured item is kind of the adrenaline rush. But this is a job and it is work. It is work to get it sorted, get it cleaned, get it listed, get it put away properly, manage the listings, manage the inventory, manage the sales, and all of that. But I did not understand how much time it was going to take me. So I was really going out and doing the fun part of gathering things I wanted to fill my store with, not realizing that it was like just a pouring faucet that I was getting. I was drowning. I am drowning still in this, but more positive on that later. So mistake 1, 2, and 3. Let's go again. The mistake of 10,000 listings, as I called it, the mistake of ignoring sell-through rate, and the mistake of not understanding my time all led to mistake number 4. And I almost want to put this at the top, but I had to get it into context. Mistake number 4 is probably my biggest problem that I've had. So once I got so overwhelmed with all the stuff, I had so much what they call death pile. I had so much that I needed to list, so much from just our own stuff I wanted to list, added to the stuff I was having fun sourcing. I became overwhelmed with that, and I was trying to get it listed. At the same time, you're dealing so much with cleaning and organizing and figuring out all this stuff that you've got to deal with. You're not getting listings up, you're not getting good listings up, and therefore you're not generating sales, and you just feel like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done. I'm not making any money here. I'm working for 10 cents an hour right now. And it's discouraging. So I started to make the big mistake of what I'm going to call list it and forget it. It's so bad, you guys, so bad. So I decided that the most important thing for me to do would be to photograph that item, get it listed. If I even just set it aside, as long as it was listed, I would be able to find it, figure it. No. I don't know why I thought I could do that. I mean, I can't even find certain things in my home. I can't remember a lot of things people tell me anymore after being, my oldest is 25 and I've been a mom for 25 years, now have a 6-year-old. You really do lose brain cells. I don't know why I thought I could find some random little stuffed plushie that sold in this huge area of stuff that really, I don't know. But the mistake of list it and forget it became the literal problem of listed it and forgot it. So I had a couple items in the last many months. I have had a couple times, and really even a couple times is a disaster. So you may be watching this thinking, well, if you only did that a couple times, it's not that big of a deal. It is a big deal on eBay. It's a huge deal on eBay. If you sold that item, you need to be able to follow through with it shipped on time. You have to follow all the rules or you are just going to tank. There are so many people out there who are following the rules, who are on top of it. And if you can't keep up with that competition, you're not going to get anywhere. So this is the biggest mistake that I have been working diligently lately to rectify. And more on that later. So the 5th and last big mistake that I have been making, as far as I have diagnosed myself, is the mistake of being and doing everything and therefore nothing. So perhaps this is a spinoff of number 4, but or all the other ones actually. All of this just snowballs into this issue of I'm doing so much and therefore I'm getting nothing done. So, you know, it's kind of like having too many pots on the stove. If you're trying to cook too many things at once, you're not going to be able to give each one attention, and something's going to boil over, or something's going to burn, or perhaps you even forgot to turn the fire on one of them and didn't even get that one going. It's just too much. So I've realized that I have made the mistake of not narrowing down the work, not narrowing down the spatial situations that I have with my inventory, the supplies, the systems, the methods, all of that has just been a little bit here and a little bit there, and I'm doing a little bit of this and doing a little bit of that, and I need this box, and oh, I also need these bags, and I need to photograph that laying flat and that hanging up. And some of these I am actually in the midst of, I have fixed. And I'm excited to show you some of that within the next few weeks. But if you're doing everything with reselling, you're basically doing nothing. You're not doing anything well, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And all of these things, there's a couple sayings that have really resonated with me lately and just really encouraged me. And again, a lot of them, some of them are famous, but also a lot of them I have heard from listening and watching Daily Refinement. And that is, I believe it's Maya Angelou's quote of, you do what you know until you know better. And I think I'm botching that, but basically you have to give yourself some space. I'm trying to give myself some space. Try to understand that there is no college education or training or anything for being a reseller. The only way you can do it is to jump in with both feet and figure it out yourself. So I'm giving myself a lot of grace, and I'm very grateful, honestly, that I'm a year and a half in and I have started to okay. There are a lot of resellers. Sorry, my phone timeline tapped out on me. There are a lot of resellers that have not even figured that out. So I think that kind of made me lose my little spot that I was at. So I'm just going to wrap this up for today. But that's pretty much what I wanted to share with you. And don't be discouraged if you're making a bunch of mistakes, or if you're realizing that you're starting to make a bunch of mistakes. There's always a road back. And then my next few videos, I'm going to show you my plan for getting myself back on track, kind of my diagnosis for myself, and my kind of RX, my prescription treatment for my own business and what I plan to do to fix it. And I'm going to be very specific because I feel like the problems are very specific problems, and I think that there's a lot of people that I hear often on platforms asking for help and advice, how to attack my death path, how do I get back on track, how do I do this. First thing I'm going to tell you is definitely get onto Daily Refinement's YouTube page, go to the playlist of all his podcasts with tech and sports, just go through his old material. He's learned a lot too, but I promise you it's really going to change your system, and your business model does not have to look like mine does not, but there's so much to glean from that will rescue you. It will rescue you, and I am in the process of rescuing myself. I hope you guys enjoyed that today, and I'm sorry for the bad lighting. I ended up having to just do this video late at night. My kiddo is asleep, and sometimes that's the only time to find the peace and quiet. I hope you find the sunshine in your day, even though the sun has set on mine today. I will be looking for it myself tomorrow and every day. Thank you for being here. Make sure to click the like button, and if you have not subscribed, I would love it if you could, and leave any questions, comments. If you have anything specific you would like me to address regarding any of this, make sure and let me know, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.
Hand in hand, building castles out of sand, reaching